Alright, what I want to show you today is a quick and easy method on how to add detail to your miniatures. Today, I've got two HeroClix miniatures from the Hammer of Thor set. They are both ninjas. As you can see, when my camera comes into focus again, you can see that they're pretty much just red blobs. Now, there's a lot of detail. If you can really get in there, and again, my camera is not the best for autofocusing. There we go. As you can see, there's a lot of detail in this ninja that you just don't see normally. So what I want to do is I want to add shadow and depth to it. Now this is a quick technique that you don't have to have any painting skills to really have. All you're going to need is a little bit of black paint. I recommend acrylic. You can get the Apple Barrel. It's at Walmart. It's a fine brand. Citadel is a great brand too. A brush you don't care about. Ideally, it doesn't need to be a fine brush, just a kind of a big brush. Something to put your paint in, like a little paint tray. I use little things that come with the HeroClix figures. And finally, some kind of tape. Now, I usually use masking tape if I really care about the figure, but these guys are just some extra generic, so I'm going to use Scotch tape to kind of show you how it's done. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to protect the dial. So I'm going to pick one of these guys to paint. It's going to be this guy right here. I'm going to knock things over, apparently. I'm going to pop the base off. That way we don't get the dial and the information for the figure. Don't get any paint on that part of it. So once I get this dial off, we will begin with the next step. Alright, and it's coming off nicely. Just give me a little trouble being an older figure, see? So there's the dial off, and there's the figure we're going to use. I'll put that one aside for now. So there we go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of Scotch tape. And I'm going to tape up the important bits of information. I'm going to go ahead and tape up. Let me put this a little closer here. I'm going to go ahead and tape up that. Another piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to tape up the name real quick. And I'm going to try to be as precise as I can with the paint, so it's not a huge deal that we get all this taken care of, but just in case things go a little wonky with that, I want to make certain that we got some coverage there. Give one last little piece of tape on that Hydra symbol, because if you know anything about the game, you definitely want that symbol to be there. Alright. So there's our figure. He is now prepped, or he or she, is now prepped for being painted. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tiny bit of water, just a drop or two. Well, it's probably a little more than I wanted. So I'm going to dab a little bit out of there. But you get the idea. I'm going to take a little bit of water and just make sure that there's some in there for my paint. I'm going to take my paint. I'm just going to squirt a little bit. I don't need a lot. That's good. And now I'm going to mix it up. Okay. You want it to have roughly the same consistency. It's going to be a little watery, and that's good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our figure, and we are just going to paint him black. Now you can see I have a paper towel underneath here because there is a little splash, and I don't want to get my table painted black. I think my wife would be pretty upset with me about that. But as you see, I'm just kind of going over and getting the black on him. There's no real rhyme or reason. You just want to make certain that you cover it fairly thoroughly. Let it get into the cracks. And that's why we watered it down, to be honest, is to make sure they can get into those cracks. We don't want the paint to glob up, and then we do our next step, which is the wipe away. And I'm going to go ahead and do his hands, because they're just pink globs. I don't really see a need to do the sword, so it's kind of bent up anyway. I'm not real attached to it. I got his face a little bit, and I'll be a little careful of that when we do the wipe away. Okay. So you can kind of see what we're going for here. I've got just about the whole figure covered. And as you can see, the figure already, I mean, we haven't even wiped away the paint yet, and the figure already is showing a lot more detail. Okay. So that's set for just a second while I move my other supplies aside. And now, we're going to do the wipe away. And how we do that is we take our figure, we take a paper towel, and we literally just rub the paint off. First, I'll kind of soak it up like that. And then I'll run the paint. I tend to rub top to bottom, as that's how shadows will run. So you clean off the paint from the top, and the shadows from the bottom remain. Obviously, you don't want to have a black butt, but I'll use a couple pieces of paper towels just to get going here. And you can clean up as much as you want. I'm going pretty heavy with the cleanup. You can see my fuzzy video. Make sure I get his face. I kind of want to get his hands a little cleaned up. And again, you can thicken your paint a little bit if you want it to stay on a little more. All I really want to do is create a few shadows. So I was being very, very careful and not putting as much paint, not letting it dry very much, because you don't want to let it dry too much. But anyway, there we go. So I've done a quick paint job on it. And just for your comparison, and kind of get a good look at this. Hold on. There we go. So you can see the paint's still wet in there, still dry, but we've got some shadows now. You'll probably want to catch a couple of these spots that are a little clumped up. But now you can see some of the muscle in the leg that you just don't see there. You see some of the straps and some of the folds in there that you just couldn't see. And even in the face. The nose, and even though I need to go ahead and get some of that out of the eye right there, even in the face, it's a lot better. So anyway, that's it. I've done it on a few other miniatures. Ursa Major was a great one to work on, making a bear be a little more realistic looking and not just a big blob of brown fur. There we go. See his face and his eyes. So you just let it dry. And that's it. That's a quick and easy way to do it. I apologize for all the video work. It's my first video, and I'm trying to work with my hands and a cell phone camera. So, but thanks for your time, and I look forward to showing you more tips and tricks. Have a great day.